Welcome to the show of Youth Culture Talks with Professor Alex. So we have got a lot of questions from students, and today we will ask two most asked questions by the students. So let's get started with Professor Alex. Sir, I would want to know something from you. So now there is ongoing war in Ukraine and there is a crisis situation in Bangladesh. So how do you think international students will cope up with this kind of situations?
Yeah, so see, because of the war in Ukraine and also the crisis in Bangladesh, as a mentor, I tell students that it's some students may lose 1 year, 2 years, or even 3 years of their careers, right? But it's not worth risking one's life to study in those countries. So it is far better to come back to their home country and finish their studies, or maybe sometimes restart. Now, some Ukrainian universities or Bangladesh universities may allow online completion. So in that case, of course, the best way is to complete it online, because students have already invested a long time. But for those universities that don't allow students to complete it online, it would be best to come back to their home countries. And in the home countries also, for example, in India, the government of India is trying to rehabilitate the students who are coming back. But I understand that that may not be possible for all students, because there are a lot of geographical, socio-political dynamics involved. But the best way is just to think of the 1 year or 2 year loss as a break year, right? In Europe and America, it's a common culture to take a 1 year or 2 year break before college. So it's a matter of a mindset, not to be sad or something, but just to keep that experience as that time as an experiential learning as a break year, and start from first year onwards and finish the degree in whatever is the dream career. So it's not worth to take risk in staying in war zones or staying in crisis affected zones. It's much better to come back to the safety of the homeland, home country, and finish the education, right? And besides, there's plenty of good opportunities in countries like India. There's plenty of good opportunities for growth, for career. It's not worth to take that risk, life risk. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely right, sir. Sir, I have heard in Nordic countries, the happiness index in people are very high. So can you please tell us the secret behind it?
Yeah, I had the opportunity to visit a few Nordic countries recently, and I was surprised to see that the local people are very happy, and with their government, with their life, with their country, with their lifestyle. I did a little research trying to find out that and I found out that they have the highest happiness index of the world. One of the highest. So I tried to find out what is the reason, and I interacted with a lot of locals trying to find out what's the reason behind the fact that they are all quite happy with their lives. And even though I noticed that each of their countries, there very, very harsh cold weather is there is a lot of I would say resource shortage, because they have to import a lot of resources because of the cold climate. A lot of vegetables or a lot of other manufacturing products are not there. But I noticed that overall,
maybe like Iceland.
Yeah, like let's say Iceland, and their income potential is also not very high. They have much less number of millionaires or billionaires, let's say, compared to the US or UK, right? But of course, their happiness index is much higher compared to the US or UK or other developed nations. So I was naturally very, very curious, and I interacted and I interviewed a lot of Iceland, locals. And here's what I found out. Number one, I noticed that in Iceland, their way of life is everything will work out in the end, right? That is their, imbibed in their culture. So any problem they are facing, monetary problem, business problem, financial, health, relationship, they have this mindset in the culture that, oh, don't worry, it'll all work out in the end, right? And I noticed that is there in each and every Icelander, that they have the thought that, it'll work out in the end. So they don't stress and fuss about it and lose their health or lose their sleep about it. Second is, I noticed that there is a strong social bond in Icelandic people. Because of course the population is less, that's also a fact, but they spend a lot of time nurturing these social connections. So that is, I think, another big aspect of it. Third point is, I think, trust with the government, trust with their institutions. So they know that my government will take care of me, my government will support me, and so they are not so opposed to the government policies and all. So that is also something that surprised me, that they are quite happy with their government. Fourth, I would say, is outdoor living. Icelandic people are although they have 6 months sunshine and 6 months very early the sun sets and it's almost dark all the time, and it's likely to be depressed, right? It's highly likely to be depressed, but they have a very outdoor lifestyle. Outdoor, they have geysers and swimming pools, heated swimming pools. They do outdoor activities, they do biking, cycling, so that outdoor activities, I think, it helps in generating that adrenaline. That's the happy hormones are there. So it's I think one of the takeaways for even students or youth from all over the world, that more outdoor activities, sports, social activities, these lead to a happy life. And actually there's a health reason for it. It secretes those happy hormones, right? It secretes happy hormones. So I think that is the next point. And the other point is, I think, high levels of literacy, high levels of education in their population, and then the levels of poverty are also quite less. Levels of drug abuse or other substance abuse are quite less. So I would say, and I think another point is, the display of wealth is not encouraged. I mean, even very rich people in the Nordic countries live quite a normal lifestyle. They'll bike to work, they'll just take a normal cycle and just bike to work or bike to their shops or something. So overall, I would say there was a lot of takeaways, particularly this outdoor kind of living, social bonds. And another point is that laughter. They have a very good sense of humor. They try to take things quite not so seriously, quite lightly. They try to take problems and they try to take lightly. They have a good sense of dry wit, I would say, a sense of sarcastic humor. So yeah, it was quite good takeaways from my trip to the Nordic countries, and I would suggest all youth to take these I think learnings from Iceland and other Nordic countries and live a very happy life.
So sir, what we have understood from this conversation is that they are extremely hopeful about life.
Yes, they are hopeful, they are ambitious, but at the same time, they know that it will work out in the end. If I don't get to level A, I'll get to level B. If I don't get to level B, I'll get to level C. But it's all fine, because even the richest and the second and the third, they don't display their wealth that much. So they're all
grounded.
Yeah, very grounded, very socially very connected with their friends, with their family. They're ambitious, they're innovative. They look at innovation as one of their I think the biggest exports. They have lot of inventions they have done. They have harsh climate, very cold, wind chill factor is harsh, but still they do outdoor living, outdoor sports. Whenever they get a chance, they go outdoors. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much for this conversation, sir.
Thank you very much.
If you have any questions related to your lifestyle, related to your workplace culture, related to your career, professional career, or your student life, whatever you want to know, you can definitely put up in the comment section, and we will discuss more about these kind of topics. Thank you.